Thank you all for coming out. This is a workshop, which means this is a workshop between the staff and commission. You are visitors and you're welcome to, can't say participate, but at least have a say of what we're seeing, what we're doing. My pastor today is, we have a brand new Catholic church in Actors Parish. It's, Hello, Pastor. Father, how you doing? Okay, this is Father Greg. Greg, if you want to speak up, I don't have a microphone, but if you want to just introduce yourself before you introduce your prayer.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for listening. Hello. My name is Father Greg. I represent the pastor of the Catholic Church of the Incarnation in Lake Helensburg. My division is the first congregational United Church of Christ that is so gracious and laid on us ourselves in faith and Catholic worship.
What time do you meet today?
We meet every Saturday at first congregational United Church of Christ.
All right, thank you, Pastor. You can begin your prayer. Would you please all stand and again, I'm sorry, I don't have my loudspeaker, so you have to speak as loud as you can.
No problem. Let us pray. Lord, we come before you with our minds fixed on progress. We ask for your wisdom, your understanding, and your direction. We pray that all who are entrusted with authority may remember who is in need. As you are one who satisfies the needs of us all, we pray that this meeting may be fruitful and help us all to work towards lives that are pleasing to you. We ask you for strength that we may bear the burdens you give us. Open our eyes to the solutions that work for us all. May your peace reign in our hearts and minds throughout this week. May every word spoken reflect a spirit of service. Lastly, Lord, we thank you for the time we will share this week, as all time belongs to you. We ask these things in your mighty and holy name. Amen.
Amen. In reference to our to the Pope in the past, I thought it would not be online to have a Catholic priest to give us this opening. And Father, we thank you for that. And we will disconnect you right now.
No problem. I'll have a fruitful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Let's read our welcome. Welcome to the City of Lake Ellen City Commission meeting. This agenda is regularly scheduled commission meeting, which is usually regularly scheduled. This is the posted call meeting. Anyone desiring to address the commission must fill out and provide the deputy clerk with a yellow request to speak form located at the door. After being recognized by the mayor, persons are asked to come forward, speak from the podium, state their name and address, and direct all remarks to the commission as a body, and not individual members of the commission, or staff, or even each other in the audience. Citizen comments, including public comments in each section of the agenda where public comments are allowed, are asked to limit the discussion to 3 minutes. Large groups are asked to name spokesman and period of time for comments, and not the period of time is for comments and not questions. City Commission will be anything referred to the staff should be answered by staff within a reasonable period of time following the date meeting, the order and the quorum will be preserved at all meetings. Personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks are not permitted. Thank you for participating in our meeting. Please call the order. Roll call. Zone 1.
Present.
Zone 2.
Here.
Zone 3.
Here.
Zone 4.
Here.
And the mayor is here. Ceremonial matters, get that out of the way. So our workshop, as this is a workshop, as you know that because of Sunshine, we can't meet individually outside of Sunshine in a meeting, a city commission meeting, or usually the business of the city. We do have special meetings as maybe certain things come up, and we also have what we call workshops. And the workshops is where we're going to discuss city staff and commission communication. As you can see, we have our staff here. Normally, we don't hear from our staff, but I hear a lot about them, so it's the only fair that they would be here. And anything they would like to add to the discussion would be appreciated and would be appropriate. So I'll open it up for our city commissioners. Anything that you'd like to have to lead or just bring to the discussion?
Mayor, if you don't mind, as I originally made the motion for this workshop, if you don't mind, I can kick it off a little bit.
Thank you.
I wrote an entire speech over the last few weeks in preparation for tonight. However, today I changed my mind, and so I'm going a little off the cuff. But I think that what we need to focus on tonight, all of us, staff, administrator, and the commissioners and mayor, we all should be mindful of what our goals are. And what does that mean? How do we get there? That means collaborative work. That means all of us together are in this. And whatever issues we've had leading up to this are all of ours. They're all of our problems. But addressing it tonight means that I'm no longer taking responsibility for it moving forward. I don't want to be part of that. I support each person sitting at this table that works for our city. Roxanne, Brittany, obviously the ladies in the office, our police chief, and then of course our attorney, our administrator. All of you, fantastic job, fantastic team. I support you. Each of you plays a significant role in our day-to-day operations, and I can't imagine what that picture would look like. And I think the reason we're here tonight is because of concerns that the city administrator brought up last time and made comments of leaving. And so my hope is that whatever has caused that we together will find a way to resolve that. And then whatever you all have for us, please bring it forward. If you have suggestions, I am here to try to be that bridge, and hopefully this meeting is an olive branch that we can all come together. Every decision we make reflects our city, and our actions should align with the goals of the body, with the entire body, the whole commission, with the staff, and with how we're trying to propel ourselves forward into the future. We are only one of 5, but we operate together, and our only power is here tonight in a workshop, in a meeting, in public. I ask that we do so positively, but each thing that we bring tonight, how does that reflect towards us? Keep that in mind above all else. I don't think it's time to continue to dredge up past grievances. If there are some things that we need to address, I'd like to address them, but moving forward after tonight, I would like to speak cleanly. And above all else, I want to retain the tremendous talent we have on our staff. And that includes all of you and the So with that being said, I'll turn it back over. I may have some more to say later off of what I've been thinking on, but thank you.
This is no discussion, this is a workshop, so it's, as you feel it, you want to speak up? Russ?
Well, I happen to have been here when everybody was hired, promoted, and rehired. And I've watched them, and the way I look at it is the way I was trained through the military and the fire department is there's a chain of command. And we hired Jim Gleason to be our administrator, and I look at it, even though we hire all the employees, I look at it that he's responsible for each one of the department heads and the staff that runs the office. And he's the one that usually, most of the time, unless it has to deal with permitting or a question on billing or something, I will go through Jim to address issues. What I'm gonna happen, I got a phone call today when I was working out in the field, and when I got back in the house, I pulled up the email from Ethan Wood of Golden Rule Signs. And he says, my name is Ethan Wood with Golden Rule Signs. I made a call to the permit office and received a rather surprising level of great service. I call permit offices often, and sometimes you get a call back, many times you don't. This is a taxpayer money working at its best, but thought you should know. His communication was with Debbie. And I forwarded that email to Jim this afternoon or this evening. Don't know if it was in time for before he left the office or not, but it's very complimentary and shows what our staff does in the public thing. And I know I've had some permit issues, and sometimes it's gotten rather warm when Debbie and I talk. We end up working things out and everything gets done. But that's the way it is. But the way I look at it, though, is as long as Mr. Gleason, Jim, is satisfied with his staff and everything, I don't bother them. That's their job to do. And it's the way I've been raised and done and taught. And it's the way I'll continue being. But thank you, Debbie, for taking care of our customers that way.
Later.
I want to say something. As far as everything that Commissioner Rutledge said, I totally agree. After tonight, we need to just move forward with a clean slate. That being said, I have to say that after witnessing the arrogant, aggressive, petty, and downright bizarre attack on staff, fellow commission, and the city itself on display Monday evening, it is clear to me that some here do not want a path forward. So I still, it's like, I tell everybody, they're like, how was it? I'm like, you can't explain it. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. That being said, that's just a statement that I wanted to make. Like I said, I don't have a problem working with anybody. Am I an asshole sometimes? Yes, I am, but because I speak my mind, how I feel. It doesn't mean that I don't like you or I don't want to be around you. I mean, Jim knows we can talk and everything's fine. I mean, we have a good, talk it out, and that's it. So, anyways, that's all I want to say for now.
I wrote it, so it's a little lengthy, so. And I did share it with my peers, and they know what I'm reading. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out here today and being part of this workshop and helping us work through these issues. I drafted a few notes in regard to our topics of the workshop, but before I get into those, I just wanted to provide some thoughts on our current leader, the city administrator, Jim Gleason. In public service, integrity, vision, and courage aren't always the easiest paths to take. But RCA, Jim Gleason, has never taken shortcuts or the easy way out. He leads with principle, even when that means standing alone. It takes a rare kind of conviction to lead not just with authority, but with conscience. And an even rarer kind of strength to stay the course when the support that should be there isn't. But what really defines Jim's leadership is not just how he handles pressure from above, but how he treats every single person under his direction. Regardless of job title, background, or role, he leads with deep respect for the people who make this work possible. He listens, he acknowledges. He never forgets that dignity in the workplace starts with recognizing the worth of every individual. That respect is not performative, it's real. And it creates an environment where people feel seen, heard, and valued, no matter where they sit in the hierarchy. That's leadership, that's culture, and that is something many talk about, but very few actually deliver. I know this because this is not my first position or job, but I can say with true honesty that Jim Gleason is my most respected leader. So now we move on to the reason for the meeting. In my almost 25 years of organizational leadership experience, I found that there is one main priority that lies at the heart of every successful organization, and that's the power of working together, and Heather touched on this. Collaboration isn't just a word that we put on posters or mention in team meetings. It's a mindset, it's a choice we make every day to listen before we speak, to seek common ground, and to build each other up instead of breaking each other down. When we collaborate, we're not just combining skills, we're creating trust. And with trust, there's almost nothing that we can't overcome. But for collaboration to truly take root, leadership has to set the tone. And leadership isn't just about positions or titles, it's about behavior. It's about modeling the way. It's not only about strategy, but working with humility. It's about showing up with consistency, clarity, and compassion, and most importantly, making a space for others to lead to. I've seen this firsthand in my 18 months with the city. Employees stepping up to lead, not because of their titles, but because it's the right thing to do. I've seen our CA step out of his office to spend time in the field with Public Works, working side by side with the team, understanding their challenges and hearing their ideas. I've seen employees roll up their sleeves and help process quarterly utility bills, not because it was their job description, but because their team needed them to. I've watched employees lead from every level, catching small errors before they become big ones, stepping in to help a coworker, or offering thoughtful feedback that improves how we serve the public. Because just like the commission, we serve the community as well. A few final thoughts. When those at the top walk with integrity, listen with respect, and treat people with fairness, regardless of role or rank, it sends a powerful message. It says, you, Debbie, Aaron, Rick, Chief, the police officers, Sherrod, Paul, Will, says that your voice counts, and we're in this together. That's the kind of culture, that's the kind of work environment we should always be striving to build, and hopefully that is at least one of the goals of tonight's workshop. A healthy work environment for everyone, where leadership is earned daily, not demanded, where collaboration isn't just encouraged but expected, and where people feel proud, not just of the work they do, but how we do it together. Thank you.
Wait for everybody else to speak. We don't really have a way around speaking.
We're having trouble hearing you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Speak a little bit louder. She says she's not ready to speak right now.
I'm just reporting right now. I want to hear about what's being said, trying to figure out which path we're going down. Presuming we'll get there.
Mayor, can I say something real quick?
Could you hold on to that so I can clear the table? I'm going to come back to you, Joe. I appreciate it. But I want to at least get as much as the table who are here sitting at this table. You are actually, as you're witnessing this is our workshop. We're trying to work something out. And
Joey's
he's an employee, but I'm not putting him down. I just wanted the people to Come get a seat. Take a seat.
Come on, Joey.
You know, it's a shortcut out there. Okay, now you're at the table.
Go ahead, Ernest.
Go right ahead, go
I
ahead.
just want to say, I've been around the city a long time, while y'all have. I've worked with a lot of different people. And to me, when we come to work, it's a family. We work together as a family. I see most of these people as much as I do my own family. Some of my family I see less. But I think it positively as somebody employed here, coming to work, the people you work with changes your attitude about wanting to come to work or be here. It also changes your pride of what you do. I can tell you that in my whole life, I've worked for a lot of people. My chief has an open door policy. It's a true open door policy. We walk in, we can speak to them, they'll listen to us. Jim's came here, we've had plenty of other city administrators shutting down. You come in with a problem, Jim will listen. Jim will give you the answer. If you question an answer, not as in questioning his authority, but questioning him as in, why does it work that way? Jim will take the time to explain it to you or listen to your side of the story and sometimes come to an agreement and listen to actually put two sides together to make it right. Not a lot of people will do that. Roxanne, her door's always been open to employees. We walk in, we deal with her for HR reasons, any other reasons that deal with the city. Bunch of stuff that was not taken care of years ago that we've had to straighten out. Aaron does it, works with us anytime we walk in there and ask her to deal with it with tickets or any kind of billing or stuff that we're working with crashes. Ricky, we can call Ricky. Ricky works with us as a team. You know, whatever we need, we can go to Ricky and ask for it, send him an email, whatever it is, and he'll work his best to help us out. Debbie, same way. We all might butt heads at times, but we're like kids. We're going to butt heads at certain times, but at the end of the day, we all work as a team, and nobody here really. All I say is, this is the best team that I've seen in a long time together that works together, and it's nice to see that.
So where's the breakdown?
Well,
What can we do better?
we'll get to that. Yeah.
You got anything or anything you want us to hear?
I do, but I don't want it to come off combative. I'm very leery of what I say here tonight, because of that. One thing I will say, and it hit us in the last meeting, and it really sticks with me. And it's no, again, I'm just going to tell you. We have a stormwater problem, right? We all know we do. When you guys said it was unacceptable about having things ready and all that, it kind of looks like the staff is not doing their job when people look at it. Instead of going, staff, we are working on diligently. We meet with FEMA more than I want to on a regular basis with Jim and Roxanne all the time. We're in meetings trying to get mitigation money. There's certain things you can and can't do, like we can't go out and pull the millions off certain roads or steal plates up. Anything we do can cost us mitigation money if it's there. We know what needs to happen. I'm a citizen here too. We know. But you guys, when you say unacceptable, it looks like that. Instead of telling the people, even if we have 5 projects ready or 1 project ready, you don't have the money as a city to do it. Say that to them. I would rather hear that than unacceptable, because it is unacceptable. But it's not because we're not trying, it's because of the circumstances. And that really hits home with me, because, we are doing our best, and then some people come to us, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We do. We look into every avenue, that we can, but if we can't do it legally or we can't do it without we just can't. And we know we've got a lot of money that's got to go out for stormwater. We've got probably $35–40 million in water projects. We know the problems, and you guys do too, but we know firsthand. I know firsthand what we have. And bringing on the new engineering firm, I have never in my almost 30 years working here, I've had a firm that came in and said, we're going to help you with your problems, and we're going to help you get funded on what we can. I consider them a partner. They don't say, here, do you have enough to cover us to do this engineering? Okay, well, call us when you get the money. We'll re-engineer it again, because it might be 2 years. These people, I've seen more out of them, and they speak English. They speak everybody's language, and they're really trying, and they understand that, I mean, they come out, we are trying. This staff is the best staff I've worked with in many, many years, as far as all collectively. Jim has been Jim has taught me so much. I'm here today working on my budget, hours and hours on end, because he cares and I'm part of the budget process. I'm not just handed, here's your budget, live with it. This year's, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to come back and see this, Our town's great. We have great things going on. Pretty soon, next week, we're gonna bring the tower contract, get the tower redone and all that. We have our antennas on there, it's gonna be painted, it's our namesake, We're gonna put lights on. We all have pride in our town. I do, I've lived here all my life. And I love my town and all that. And sometimes when you say that kind of stuff, it kind of hurts a little bit, because people need to know the truth. We just don't have the money to do anything, but we're working on it. And we understand. I wish I could pump Lake Helen Lake tomorrow. I wish I could do all that. I wish I could replace every water line. I can't, but it's not that we're not working on it every day. We work on a multitude of things every single level and every single day here. And open door. When you go to the bills or things like that, if you have a problem with a bill, please call us and ask us. Hey, I see we got a bill here. Can you tell me what in the world that's for? Ann Robbins used to do that all the time. She'd call me Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Hey, Rick, I got a bill here. Can you tell me what it's for? I mean, it's just that little bit that helps with us, It just gets so, feels combative when it comes that way. We're here to serve you and Lake Helen and all the people here. That's all we're here to do. I came back. I love my town. I love everything. I love coming to work every day and doing what I do. I absolutely love it. I told my wife I'll never work anywhere else again. If I don't work here, I'm never working again. It's just that we have so much we can do. We're moving so far ahead right now. I see it. I see it happening right now. You guys are, you're getting it together. You're understanding. Stormwater, the can's been kicked down the road. There's no road left. We're going to have to face reality. And it may be a hard reality, but you're facing it. And that's what I commend you guys on. You're at least making the hard decision. City Hall, you've made a decision now. Now we're moving forward. It's great. Now you're going to open up a can of worms, we know that. But you know what? At least you started it. And that's wonderful. I think we're open to you guys. Anytime you need something, you can always call us. You can't direct us, but you can call us. Say, hey, we got something going on. Can you tell me about it? Hey, the tower is getting renovated. Can you tell me what's going on? If you really need to know something, we will help you as much as we can. We do that with every citizen too. I went out today. Mrs. Cherry, she was worried about her water. I went out there, did everything. Hell, I even reset a water softener for her because it was off time. I mean, we help the citizens because they're citizens, but they're also our friends and family. And they are taxpayers, and they are here. They do pay water bills. We go out and help them we go above and beyond to make sure if they have a water leak or something, we will go above and beyond to make sure to help them. And that's really what it is, Just tell the people, I pay taxes too. I pay stormwater. I pay the same taxes everybody pays here. I know it, and I work here, so I know the hardships of not having the money and doing that. It's hard for me to tell somebody, I'm sorry, we just don't have the money right now, but we're working on it. And that's a good feeling to tell them. So I hope I didn't offend anybody. I just don't know how other to tell you what I mean. I mean, we're just here. But when you guys fight, it's detrimental to all of us. And we don't like that. We're watching our parents fight. We don't want you to fight. We want you to be together and help us get these things solved and get this money and get these stormwater projects and all this, We are just such a great town. We have such great people here that volunteer and help all the time and do everything continuously. So that's all I got. I can go on all night. But I know I'll just keep rattling on. I'm done rattling.
Ready?
Yeah, yes, Eric has nothing to say with Debbie.
It's hard for me. I'm the oldest employee here. If you think about it, everybody else who was here when I came in is gone. And I've seen the mayor's change, I've seen the commission change, and now I have staff. We have a collaborative group of people that work together as an amazing team, and we have a great leader. That's the best boss I've ever had. He will listen, he will talk through things with you, we work together well. There's never been any issue in our office. We have all come together as a team. When I first started here, I was given, this is what you do, and that was it. Had no idea what was going on the other side of the room. Now, we all know what goes on within our city. We all share. So, I just want to say that you guys have a beautiful town. And you have it's an amazing little town. And she needs a lot of love. And this bickering with everybody, it's really hard to come to work. It makes it really hard. And you guys, the commission, you're our leaders. You lead this town and you direct us. But the town looks at us like we're the ones making the mistakes. So I applaud you for stepping up. Building, that's huge. Really moving forward on it. I've been here the whole time, 4 years. And then when I was up in the record room, I found when this was looked at back in the 90s, that they were looking at doing this. So it's been an ongoing battle for a very long time. It's not something that just fell and became Jim. It became his problem when he became your CA. Every issue that this city had became his problem when he picked up the leadership. And he has taken it and he's run with it. And he's making a difference. And if this keeps up, we're going to lose him. And then what are we going to do? Start over again? So that's all I have to say.
For that, reason I'm here tonight is because of Jim. I echo what everybody else at this table has said. He is the best boss I have ever had. This city would not be here without Jim. The employees that are here would probably not be here without Jim. And my frustration lies into when you let a small group of people and you let that affect and poison what goes on. And it is a small group of people. We have these people in this audience today. There's almost 3,000 more citizens in this city that aren't here, that I'm sure that will echo. The majority will echo exactly what I'm saying. We all know what we're talking about. And that's why I'm here. So this man will stay.
Can we sit there? Because I am just a tad confused. The agenda stated that this meeting is about communication. But with the things that are being said, I don't see where we're trying to get to a central point of communicating with each other. Communication can be defined in many ways. It can be defined as, well, I'm going to communicate to you and it's going to be my way, the highway, or it can be team building, or it can be building up somebody else's career, if at all possible. But the fact remains is that whenever we communicate, it should be done civilly, not necessarily as a team, because we aren't all on the same team. So I'm just a little confused, but I did take some notes. Is this, because I wanted to hear what the employees had to say, and they keep praising the CA, he's wonderful, and I think that's great. I've told him that. You know, having meetings on Friday mornings is a great idea. That never happened before. You know, you're all off in your own little cubes and not getting any direction. But now it seems that these little cubes are being brought into bigger issues, possibly, that has to do with the citizens and the way the citizens actually feel about the city, what we're doing, not doing, are we doing anything? As commissioners, that's our job. We're the ones who get the phone calls. We're the ones who, the people call and say, what are we going to do with this road? What are we going to do with this pond? Unfortunately, and what I have said, obviously, is that we, as commissioners, need to sit down and have workshops. We can't just go down and, to the coffee house on the street and sit there. It'd be great if we had that type of government. We don't. And we're also not the only city that has this type of government. We have laws that we have to follow. It is disheartening sometimes because I get where y'all are coming from. It's like, I did want to say this. With the communication part, I heard in some of the comments, it's that, it sounds like maybe you guys think that a commissioner or all commissioners, they're not defending your hard work. Roger talked about Debbie. I sent a letter in on there and we dropped in her file for the fantastic job she does. She does multiple jobs and she does them perfectly in a timely manner. It can't get much better than that. Probably ought to be, an employee of the year or something. It's always working. So, I don't know if we're sitting here talking about communicating from the employees to defend Jim. Are you sitting here wanting to talk about how can helping staff communicate against or with each other? Are you wanting to talk about how can staff communicate clearly and define their needs to the commission? I mean, just about every commissioner has been matched. I've been challenged. That's public records, challenged, put out there. I'm not going to get into any arguments tonight. I just want to clearly understand what's on the agenda. Are we going to talk about how we're going to communicate? Ricky, you brought up on me anytime. I have talked. I gave my explanation on why I vote no on certain items. And those items, and I'm not going to talk to you about what I vote no on, but in a commission meeting, it might be an item that I just want to know what happened. $27,000 or $100,000. Or why are we buying so many nails in this city? Maybe nothing major, but I want to be clear on it before I put my foot out there. However, as I have stated, I'm not going to vote yes if I can't figure out if we're moving dollars from one line item to another line. And as an example, and this is in no way to try to slam anybody. Things happen, a lot of work going on, a lot of paper shuffling. Last commissioners meeting, the variance report I had, we were 2.1% below budget. That's great, but I had the wrong report. The report that I should have had was 0.6 under budget. And I found it just was a mix-up. I didn't know it at the time, so I was just trying to figure out, okay, and then I knew that I had 0.6. So there should be, in my opinion, if there is a problem like that, instead of people challenging other people or demanding, wanting to know why you vote that way, there should be pretty much a sidebar kind of conversation, not between the two people, but probably two people have agreements. That's what we have a city attorney for. And I call him all the time, not all the time, but I call him, commission if I have an issue, or if I'm told from another attorney's office, call me. That's the pecking order. And typically in businesses, you have a pecking order. I try to circumvent that sometimes, but they send me back to him, and I tell him I was told to call you, and he'll say, who told you to call me? And I tell him I have nothing to hide. So I guess just to wrap my part of it up, what are we looking at talking about in communication? Is it about the citizens out there, bashing small groups of people, bashing? Is it the employees? Is it the commission? I need clarity and I need facts. That's the only way that I can possibly understand what it is that we're talking about. So we have to dig deep there, and it has to be, maybe hopefully not speak, that we can be adults, but I would prefer it that way. So in my mind, if we've got a communication problem, then maybe we should outline, okay, then do you have a problem or have a question for Ricky or for Joey or for Roxanne? Roxanne and I have worked well together. Very nice emails back and forth. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. No problems that I know of, but that's the way it should be. But if we have a communication problem, we need to outline, this is the problem, how do you want us to handle it? Do you want me to call you, or do you want me to send an email to the CA, or do you want me to contact Roxanne? That's my way of saying, now we've got a plan that's going to work.
Mayor, I'm going to use an example of communication to show where there is a problem. And the problem is we've been just in putting this meeting together. We had to call you all and coordinate time and what have you. Once the meeting was confirmed, Roxanne sends out a meeting invite. It's accepted. We get an email the next day from Lynn accusing us of not communicating with her about the meeting process. We're looking at each other. What are you talking about? We're on the phone with you when we were doing that. You accepted the meeting, and then you're blasting us because Heather posted it in the evening on Facebook. So I can't help it if she doesn't understand her emails or she doesn't know what it means to click on a meeting and accept an invitation. So just using this meeting as an example is that where we were accused of not communicating on something we were working together collaboratively to build this meeting. You all got it because I answered her on that reply and sent it out to you all to show you the kind of things that happens to us on a regular basis. It's the accusation and the innuendo that somehow we're doing something wrong. You're looking for an aha, I got you moment. And I'll give another example. Okay, I got a call about Savvy Citizen. Lynn was saying she wasn't getting reports and no information. How long have we had Savvy Citizen? Since about October?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
6 months.
So I call up and I find out the reason she wasn't because she never completed the registration. What are we supposed to do about that? But yet we're getting accusations that she's not being communicated to. That's the problem, is that everything is an accusation. There is no communication. There is no questioning. And after Monday night, there is no relationship between her and I. There is no professionalism. I will work for the four of you duly elected individuals, and we'll make this work.
Well, now I guess I can speak. I'll have to echo the things that most of the employees have said about this is probably the best team that the city has built. I had to really think about how long I had been with the city, and not in an official capacity, but in 2005, when they were widening I-4, that's when I first became knocking on the door, and that happened to be Mark Sutherland. From there, I ran in 2005 against a guy by the name of Cookie. 2006, I'm sorry. And the reason I want to speak to Cookie, because Cookie taught me something that I'll never forget. And that was after we ran against each other, and he beat me. And I was a ring behind the ears. But I was told by another good friend of the city, Lou Benton. And Lou Benton told me with his gravel voice, because he's a heavy smoker, that Bernie, you gotta get on one of those commissions. So I got on the Parks and Rec Commission. And then I got on the Historical Board Commission. And when they called me, Bernie, you gotta get on the PLDRC. I got on the PLDRC. And then the next 208, I ran against Cookie again. And this time I beat him. Well, I beat him 3 points. Separate us. When Cookie, 3 votes. When Cookie, I read this, farewell but not goodbye. Alan B. Cook. That was a close one. There was some tense moments during the recount, especially after I gained 2 votes, but alas, I could not pull off a win. I used to dig being commissioner, but after November 20th, I'll have to say I dug being commissioner. Be advised, just because I'm no longer an elected official on the city commission, it does not mean that I will stop my work for Lake Helen. Near and dear to my heart are 3 projects. One of them is 14 landscapes, I-4 landscape project. After they built I-4, they didn't put out any trees in, so Cookie made sure that we got trees put in. The second one was a senior citizen village. I think you were talking about the villas, the senior citizen village. And the last but not least is the stormwater recovery project. He wrote this in 2008. Stormwater has not been something that has not been on their agenda. It has been one of those things that have come and gone. When we had a drought and the river and the lake was drying up, nobody was talking about stormwater. We had a very significant, I'll say, once in a lifetime storm. Stormwater flooding is a issue. I'm going to finish reading. I love Lake Helen, and I plan to continue my activities for her betterment. My hope is that we can move onward and upward and put all the bickering and diversiveness behind us. This is Cookie 2008. Lake Helen citizens should unite to further our common goals and interests. There's so much good that can come from a united front. Many thanks to all of my loyal supporters. I've enjoyed every moment, almost, of my time serving the citizens of our fair cities. Congratulations are in order for our new city commissioner, Vernon Burton. He is a good man, and I'm sure he will watch after your best interests. So we meet again.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was somebody that was, finished, please. That was something that instilled in me that the city is bigger than one person. The majority of what we get out of the city is what we put in. If we put little in, get little in return. The idea that we have been able to, and because I've worked with every single city administrator that the city's ever had. The good, the bad, and unmentionable. Don Findell was in that position that the mold was cut around Don Findell. And he was given something that did not have any structure to it, but he was told what he needed to do, what he should do, and he had to do it within the confines of a city administrator and not a city manager. And I had to learn what a manager was as opposed to a city manager. This form of government that we have, because the city did not want a manager and it did not pass on a ballot amendment, but what we were able to come out of that was because we were given what was amounts to an unfunded mandate by the state that we had to increase and improve our governance. Because it's kind of a good old boy, shake your hand, make a handshake, and it all works out. But we were getting a little further away from that, so they wanted somebody that knew the ins and outs and the business part of it. So that's where we got Don. Don did not get hired as a city manager because the ballot amendment failed. But he came up with the idea that we would have a city administrator. And the understanding of having a city administrator is that the city administrator serves at the pleasure of the commission. Not just one person. He doesn't have to respond to just one person. He responds to the commission, and he has to respond to the commission in a plurality of even 3 votes. If it's a motion and a second and a vote that passes, that's the direction. Even if we have meetings where we don't have motions and seconds, that we can agree on a consensus. And it's been my experience that each time the city agrees, the commission agrees on a workshop, special meeting in principle, then it's up to the city clerk to call each one of us and schedule what is going to work for all of us. If there was a city workshop that was supposed to have been had as a result of the meeting, then that call will be coming. You'll be getting a call. And I can't come on this day, I can't come on that day. Mr. Rutledge going to have to come after work. So we have to manage those, not our expectations, but manage how we get there. So there's no, in my mind, and we have had on a number of occasions, we should have a workshop. Should have a workshop. Was there a motion? Was there a second? That is how we move. If having not had a motion, and we just kind of had a discussion about it, a lot of things that go on in discussion don't necessarily get voted on. But it's been my experience that we've been able to manage the budgets, meetings. And the thing about the budget meetings is because they have to be met and done in a certain period of time so that we can get our budget in so that we will be timely, so that at a certain point, and this is dictated by the county. So and not only is it dictated by the county, but it's dictated by the date, the amount, and the way that it's worded. That's what our city administrator is for. I couldn't do that. Our clerk doesn't do that. But to be able to have a city administrator that has a background and experience that I have witnessed, and as I said, I work with the good, bad, and the unmentionable. Jim has brought to this city more balance than I've seen in in most of our city administrators. And the one thing I say about the city administrator, he is always the target of the ire of the commission. Because every year we have an election. And every year somebody's either jockeying for position. And what better punching bag would we use is the city administrator. They did it with Don Fundell. They did it with Jason Yarborough. I made sure I did it with KC. We did it with I didn't hire Lee, but they called a motion to dismiss him in the middle of what I thought at the time, sitting in the audience. Could have been done, it could have been more timely. Why would you fire your city administrator in September? He's got 20 weeks. He can sit on his boat and collect the check. Whatever you can say about Lee, whatever was said about Lee. I didn't get to witness it until I got to work with him. Lee decided that he would not just leave while we were in the process of finding his replacement. But when it came time to, the city decided to hire Colin to find us our replacement. I think it was $35,000 they had to pay him to do that. And when he gave us the November I became sworn in, by January he was telling us, by December rather, he was saying, I would bid anybody to see you before January. So Lee's termination was December 12th. So who's going to pick up? He has babysitted the city administrator's position when Becky was here, but she basically made his lunch and put it in a microwave for him. And all he had to do was work in it. So that wasn't going to be, I'm sorry, it wasn't going to be the case here. We had to have somebody who was going to be in the job. So what Lee did is that I would stay on until he find my replacement. Not only was he going to stay on until he found his replacement, but he would overlap a week, 2 weeks. So until you get somebody that you will find, I will be here. Now what does that mean? It means that there's something about this city that made this man have the quality to say, okay, whatever you say about me, I'm professional enough to say, I will not leave this city high and dry. And he did. So those are things that you put a check mark on, that we dodged that bullet. When we came to hire Jim, it was unanimous. There was no dissension. We knew all about his background. We knew all about the things that he was bringing to the table. But in talking to him and meeting with him, we all changed our opinion because we did have a first choice, was a guy who was an attorney, and everybody loved the idea that we could have an attorney, but maybe we would have to pay Scott as much because we could have him sit as a city district. Only to find out, well, I will only be available in the next maybe 90 days or so, or 60 days or whatever it was. No, we're terminating our city administrator. We want him gone. So you're now on that list. So we came back to Jim, and Jim, we got him hired. Now why is this even becoming an issue? Because I have seen our city through, now I can say, the worst natural disaster that the city's ever had. I can also say that I saw the city through in 2008 when Biden collided the economy. One of the first things that I made had to vote on as a motion was to give the city commission a reduction in our pay so that we can meet the moment. A lot of things that got put on the shelf, a lot of things got kicked down the road. But we have things that happen daily. And not only does our things happen daily, the benefit that I like with working with Jim is that he has a projection of the future. He's not looking at our calendar for today, but not only is he looking at what needs to be done in a timely fashion so he can get done. Whoever he needs to get on the point, we have. The open door that we have to Jim, I say we have, because no one spends as much time, no commissioner spends as much time in City Hall as me. And the only reason I started spending as much time as I did when I first got elected, because I didn't know who this guy was. I want to make sure that my city is not going to have a fly-by-the-light flip-flop coming through here. So every day, I came in here. I spoke to Jim. I sized him up. I saw what kind of man he was. I saw what he brought to the table. So more and more, I was able to step away. I transitioned now to the point that I generally don't get into City Hall. Sometimes if I don't get in there, I don't get in until 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Because as I told Roxanne, when I first worked with Jim, not first worked, I said, I like the way he moves, and I trust him. One of the reasons that I came to that statement because we had a congressman coming through the city hall, and he had a bus that was being wrapped. He was dropped off, the bus was being wrapped, and I get a call that way from the president. We got a congressman. There's a big bus in front of the city hall, paid for the bus. So I didn't hear anything about it. So it turns out, Commissioner Donata had made arrangements to get the city, a congressman to come through. He asked about me because I know him, and he was told that I wasn't invited. Neither was any other commissioners. So I asked Jim, well, the people that were in the photograph, why were they here? Because Commissioner Donata wanted them to be in the picture. I said, were they on their lunch hour? He said, no. So I wrote him up. I didn't write him up, I wrote him a letter. I said, I want to know why these people were off their job, and Ricky wasn't here because his son was in the doctor attendance or something. So Ricky wasn't here. He left his staff with direction, and now a city administrator takes direction from a city commissioner to bring in his staff to take a photo op. So it was my responsibility as mayor, as what any other commissioner should have done, to ask him, because he serves at the pleasure of the commission. So any one of us can ask him something. And as me being the mayor, I think I needed to know why I was not in the house when a congressman shows up. I called his office and apologized for my absence. I shouldn't have to have done that. But protocol. Politicians are really stuck on protocol. I can say that where we are right now, and I'm not going to, I want to give us a balance that we are in different times now. The world is changing. As we sit here now, things that have happened years ago, they're not the case anymore. In the last 100 days, we've seen the whole world just turn upside down. We probably need more of coming together now than ever before. I've seen the city come together in storms. I've seen the city come together in budget shortfalls. I've seen the city come together when the lakes was disappearing. So I know we know how to do it. It's a no-brainer kind of thing. We all want the best for the city. And those of us that have kids, our kids, I think we want the best for our kids. They may not do all the things we want in the way that they're doing, but we're not going to abandon them. We're not going to just cut them short. So this has been a learning process the first year. I asked for the state of the city. And the state of the city, this page is here, there's 4 pages, I'm not going to read it. But what it did, it showed what the city commission has been doing for the last, at this time it was February, so the last 13 months. This is what we were able to accomplish. Now, the unfortunate thing is that what may get reported is somebody snatching those gavel out of the mayor's hand. What might get reported is that somebody said this or that. But the good things that what we do is what I want us to be known for. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but we got a lot of work ahead of us. And we cannot work as a team, then we are going to find ourselves further and further separated. One of the reasons that I make sure that I have someone of the cloth, now in disrespect to Jim, that's his beliefs and I believe in it. But I always have someone from the cloth, from some clergy, pastor. We don't have many pastors that live in our church, live in our city, but the ones that do, I will get to hear. I've got a relationship with each one of them. I want us to have the pastors to come together and have their own little group. Because each one of them has their own congregation. And anytime you start putting yourself above the whomever, you kind of get lost. So, I believe, this is in my conclusion, I'm going to shut my mouth. I believe that we have the resources at these tables to make this city the best, what we call ourselves the gem of Florida. I always spoke about Lake Helen as the best kept secret in Volusia County. Because wherever I went to go to meetings or whatnot, everybody asked me, where's Lake Helen? I had to get away. You get on I-4, they're coming from Daytona with the second exit. Because they ain't no Lake Helen. So my job as ambassador to the city is to put a good face on it. I don't want to see the Beacon being on the headline that we are, sir, so disrupted. No. No, this. But I want us to earn the right to be celebrated. I don't want anybody to give us a free pass. If we've done something that we need to be addressed, I want us to be called out. Any one of us, there's nobody here that can walk on water. So any one of us that does not have the commission or the citizens at heart, they should be acknowledged. Those that do the work that they do, which is our city staff, they are multiplying themselves. They are a force multiplier. They call it in the military. Each one of our city staff takes 6 or 7 jobs more than they're hired to do, and only because they can translate, like Ricky's staff, they will walk on water. Brandon, your guys will take a bullet for you. I can tell you that's a serious statement coming from a former law enforcement officer. You've got a commander that you take a bullet for. You could consider that a good dude. So if in this diatribe of mine that there's somebody whose feelings are hurt, I'm not apologizing because I'm speaking from my heart. I have to walk circumspectly in the things that I do because I am a man. Every little thing I do will wind up on Facebook. And most of the things that I find on Facebook, I didn't know where these people got this stuff from. But it doesn't matter. So, you have more to say? Okay, good. Then I'll close out with this by saying that we can do this. This is not as hard as the things we've done. We've overcome worse. This should be less than a speed bump. Less than a speed bump. We should be all downhill from here. So, with that remark, I will conclude. Anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to wrap up what I have to say because I don't want this thing to blow up to a level that
To speak positive.
That's what I'm planning on doing.
Okay.
I was just accused of working with Roxanne in regards to the calendar for this meeting. I don't have an email where I was going off the deep end. And in fact, I have every email, and I can say starting on April the 11th, I believe it was, you sent out an email that you had dates available. I wrote back and said, Roxanne, I'm terribly sorry that the 24th is the one day that I'm free. You completely understood. for our meeting. Please confirm your availability to the revised date and time. I wrote back and said the 29th is good for me. Thank you. My name, Lynn, okay? And you wrote, and I know you had to have been getting frustrated because you got all these people, and unfortunately, I was lost with my doctor's appointment, my husband. And you said, my apologies for a multitude of emails, however, there is a conflict for the date below, which was the 29th. So I have two other options, 4/23, 4/30. And I wrote back and I said, I can do the 30th. And at one point you said, we can make that work. I don't remember any emails that would make you scratch your head.
It was after, the day after I had sent out the notice about the 4:30
Speak
at
up.
night. The day after I had sent out the Outlook calendar invite, there was an email from you saying, why did you not get an email confirming the date of the meeting, and that you had seen something that Heather had written that stated that the meeting was on the 30th.
Oh, that's true. But that wasn't anything, I just didn't get the confirmation. It wasn't like what the hell kind of thing is going on.
And you didn't say that. What I will say is sometimes the tone, and it's not just you, tone in email reflects differently. It's different from saying, hey, I just want to confirm that the meeting's on the 30th, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was something like, I didn't get an email, why was I not informed, and somebody else was informed and sent a Facebook.
Yeah,
So there was
I
some.
would like to see it.
Okay.
You have a copy of it, because we responded because you copied the attorney on it.
Typically, if I'm actually going to say something that's an angry, it's gonna be all upper caps, so you will know I'm screaming. So, yeah, I did do that. I didn't have it attached to this, but, I was wondering why other people got the definite date, but I didn't, so. But that was not the fashion one. One other thing is, I'm wondering how we're going to work this commission since the CA has decided he's only going to work with 4 other commissioners and not me. How does that work?
I think what would work is that if you, as a commission, he needs 3 people to agree. He needs 3 people.
Yeah, I understand.
So, and I'm only speaking for him because I'm just saying it as it was. I don't know how that question, how to answer that question. Other than the reality is that the 4, if there are 3 commissioners who are in agreement or can find commonality with something, then that what moves the commission. 3. Whether if there are 2 who are abstinent, I don't care what you say, I don't care. Well, those 2 are, their votes have to be counted. But if we can move with, if we get past the 3, and actually, in being on the commission, if you think, no, let me replace this. Whenever anyone would come to me, a citizen, and say, I need this, that, and the other thing, I say, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and give me 2 other commissions that agree with me. And I talk to a citizen.
Well, and I understand that, Mayor, but when the statement's made that they'll work professionally with the 4 other commissioners, but not me, and I am an elected official.
That was not said. You're not saying factually, that was not said.
What did you say?
I didn't say I wouldn't work with you.
You said you would not.
No, I'm going to limit my communication because your communication is not factual, just as it's not here tonight. You have accused me and staff numerous times of not communicating to you that other commissioners are getting information you're not. I can tell you, there isn't anything that's gone out of this office to the 5 of you that you haven't gotten, but you constantly accuse us of that.
I think I've said that about 5 times.
Constantly, yes.
over a 15-month period.
Well, that's your perception, and that's the problem. See, let's go to Monday. See, your perception is you're perfect. You and your little cronies. Listen to what you're getting from your little cronies. That's what you view as the commission or the citizens. So as long as we answer those few citizens, we're okay. If we don't listen to those citizens, then there's a problem for you.
I think where we are, we've had a talk around the room and around the table, and at the point of where we are now, it is apparent that most of us feel one way and you feel another way. And you're entitled to do that, and I would defend and protect you to say that, because you don't have to agree with anybody. You don't have to agree with something that you go along with. That's not your style, and I would not ask for it. But by the same token, we are here to do a job, and if the three of us, or three of us can agree, we may not necessarily be on the same page all the time, but depending on what the issue is, I think the issue motivates us to either get on the right, whatever side it's on. The issue can also say, I don't want to be a part of it. And that is that's our issue as well. The one thing that we had to do, because there was an issue that the order that came down from Tallahassee, that said that there can be no sleeping in public parks. The order was basically given to us by the state. We had to read it, we had to motion, and had to vote on it. I voted no. And the reason I voted no was because I could not see, we have 42,000 vegetables that would be affected by that. Now, does my no vote upset the whole apple cart? No. So I will stand on the point that I don't have to agree with all of you, and you don't have to agree with all of us.
Now, I was elected in Lincoln. It's been said that I ran unopposed. That's not quite true. You know that.
Well, I know that I know that there was nobody on the ballot for you. And no one.
Commissioner Lasso.
He never followed.
Yeah, that might be a misnomer that we might get cleared up today until I ran against Kelly and Cameron. Cameron withdrew. Now that wasn't what Rick did. He didn't put the paper in, so it was nothing to withdraw.
Okay.
So you really ran unopposed. And I can say for myself, I've had several unopposed races, and they're good.
Yeah.
It feels good. Get out here and be so enjoy that moment. Enjoy that in the moment.
But I'm just not feeling real comfortable with the tone that I've spoken with. Like, we are the commission, we are the policy makers. The citizens, we certainly have to listen to them. But when it comes to staff, can they just pick out someone and start making accusations, be it true or not? I don't know.
I would not put that.
I think that certainly is showing unprofessionalism in the people.
I would not throw that out at staff because they are professional enough not to have that.
Well, then let's say the CA, he's the one
Well,
in charge.
I will say that the one thing, the relationship that the CA and I have, I will say that is a good relationship. But that having been said, I don't expect him to give me one piece of information that he should. I don't want him to tell me what you did. I don't want him to tell me how Roger votes. That's a professional. So I deal with him on a one-to-one. And if in that one-to-one there's something happening that I don't get, that's what I like about the fact that he is a professional. It doesn't necessarily have to be that he doesn't like you or he doesn't like me. What he gives to me, I respect.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I just have one other question. So does this mean that basically I'm going to be a lame duck
No, not at all, not at all. But what a lame duck is that you, if you are not going to run again, and you the president, let's say, there's nothing that you can do as a lame duck that is going to influence you one way or the other. I'm going to run for it.
Or working for the citizens.
But and I'm simply trying to ask the question is that, do you have to modify or change your belief to be on the 5-0 vote? No.
Okay.
You don't have to. You can be now, one thing I would say, I wish that you would have said differently, is that without hearing what the issues are in one particular case, you miss it the other thing. So you're just going to vote no. So I would, that would have been something I would have kept to myself.
Yeah.
Okay. And that way you don't have to explain why you never have to explain why you voted. And it's not my responsibility as the mayor when it comes down to 2-2 vote that I make the right side or the left side the one that. So
But you understand I was challenged on why did I vote the way that I voted, and there's a lot of stuff on social media that we know she
can't
votes
bring
on.
the social
I know,
media
but I'm just
into-
telling you, these are things that said, and since I'm transparent about it, just like I am Commissioner Donato, I have no problems coming forth with that.
I'm
You
glad
know, so, and I do have reasons.
The only-
Not everybody knows about them.
The only reason I hear about what, say, I'm sure my good friend Nancy, the only thing I really hear about what things that Nancy says to me about me is what stuff people send me. I wouldn't have known otherwise. So, and I don't read that, and I don't put any store in it, because it's her right to say what she says. When you're in this position as being a commissioner or mayor, there's a lot of eyes on you. You have to walk a certain walk that is different. You have to walk a certain walk that keeps you above the fray. Because you can get down in the mud in a minute, and then that, all of us in the mud, it doesn't help us.
Or you can be kicked in the mud.
Well,
Or the teeth.
I wanted that Charlene to say what she's going to say.
Okay, now another point has come up. But anybody, what I want to say is anybody that was in attendance and saw what happened Monday night surely will understand his position tonight. I'm surprised he's here, actually. Because I don't think I would have. I think I would have put my keys down and went home. Now, the other thing, okay, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but the voting no. Now I have to bring up, because you say that nobody knows why you're voting no, but you actually said Monday night that you're voting no because the city's going to be investigated.
That came out Monday night.
So what I want to know is, I want to know what your goal in having the city investigated, which I'm assuming you initiated this, is what is the end goal? Do you want to have people fired? Do you want people to go to jail? Do you want us to lose our charter? I don't understand what the end goal for having an investigation into the city is.
Charlene, we've got to run it as a business. We've got to follow the charter. We can lose the charter. There's citizens out there that are in an uprising.
But what do you see that needs to be investigated? What?
Well, I really can't go into anything like that right now. It's just that if we straighten ourselves up and do what we're supposed to do and go even back in time and correct things, we should be perfectly okay.
But then,
But I have no support, no one was talking.
by the same token, you say you're going to vote no, and the rest of us are going to be involved in this investigation for voting yes. So you initiated an investigation, and you're hanging the rest of us out here to dry because you're the only one that knows what's going on. So how does that even make you a part of the commission anyways?
I think, if you look at the information that we get in the packets, you can figure it out.
Mayor, on a employee basis,
Shut up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Roger, get my side.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I didn't interrupt them talk.
I just want to say real quick, can I say real quick on an employee basis? If, some people are gonna like this, but you guys fought like cats and dogs, we didn't like it.
We come in, we have to come to work, we have to show up to work. You guys can take the day off unless it's a meeting, but we have to be here. We have to take what happens at this meeting to the citizens and everybody else, and we gotta take the front of it. We gotta follow rules. If somebody doesn't follow rules, if Jim doesn't follow the rule, he gets in trouble. Now, Linda John, no disrespect, but you talk about that you've been in HR for so many years. What HR person in the world would show a video that you showed of Jim and make sure it's okay, and then question inside of a meeting in front of the city and say, I don't know why he acts that way? It's not right. It's not right.
I'm showing a pattern, and I have 45 years
That's-
of experience.
But you-
There's a pattern here. This is where it started. I can go back to 2004, but there's this pattern of where Jim seems to get excited, angry, if he doesn't like what you say. We started off great friends, thought everything was gonna be great, 6 weeks it lasted. The only two things I asked was do right by the city and be fair and equal to all.
I know you wanted to be kiss Nancy's ring tonight, you wouldn't do that.
So all I'm gonna say is that you asked, how do you go forward from this? They argued their meetings. That has kind of gone to the past, and everybody wants it to be in the past. And people has tonight, and the commission, have stated that from tonight needs to move forward from today. What I'm asking you, as a person that's supposedly in HR, want to be part of the city, part of this commission, but if you want to go move forward, then you got to put the bypass in the bypass. If Jim's going to do the same thing, or you ask that of Jim, and you got to work forward with the city and everybody else going forward from tonight. Not showing videos, not pointing fingers at, after tonight, what his past, or what the past was, should be gone, because you hired him with that past.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, but, well, there's other things that you're not aware of that I can't disclose right now, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I heard you the other night, and
But I still have a right to speak up here, and I'm listening. You showed a video, a cut and spliced and chopped up video at that.
yeah, I'm kind of sorry.
You also made a comment that if staff didn't like what you had to say, they could leave. You also said that I support public works. I did support the police department. And you're wondering why we're having this meeting? You sat up here and go, I don't understand why we're having this meeting. That's why we're having this meeting.
So it's
Every
not
time
about.
you are a commissioner for the city of Lake Helen. Do you really believe that the things that you are doing are benefiting this city and this staff? It's tearing it down. No, I said it just like I said at the commission meeting. It's a cancer. It's a cancer. And certain people allow it to grow. Doesn't get cured, it kills. And that's what's being done. Now that's what I have to say.
Roger, go ahead. Roger was reading
One of the best, when I got elected, one of the best pieces of advice that I received was from Kelly Frasco. And she said, if you get a chance, take the League of Cities classes. At the time they had, EMO 1, EMO 2, then they had Leadership 1, Leadership 2. The Leadership 1, Leadership 2 were done away with because they were being revamped, but they came out with new ones. I've been through all 4.5 classes now. And a lot of them you sit in there and you learn, like the second one, we actually divided up into different positions, and we were given a scenario of being a city with this issue and stuff like that, and we all acted as the commissioners and stuff like that, and then resolving the issues. It was interesting finding out and talking with all the other various cities from around Florida on what problems they were having. Their problems aren't that much different from what Lake Helen's been going through in the past. And they've had issues with, like what we're going through now. And it was disappointing at this past legislative session when I didn't see the final, because they're getting ready to do all the final stuff now with the governor signing and everything, but White Springs was being disbanded on 2 issues. One of them was a promise that was made during a voting thing On the last day, they had to turn in their paperwork by noon. The person brought in their paperwork, and they said, "You're missing this." And they said, "Well, can I bring it back to you?" And they said, "Well, we're going to lunch. You can bring it back after lunch." So he went and got the paperwork done, brought it back after lunch. Somebody else was in there and says, "You're late, you can't take it." That was one of the big issues that the senator says that the city violated, was that because they were given that extra time, they should have allowed it, but they didn't communicate with each other. Now, there is an issue with the town. There are about 600 people. Majority of the people on the council are related to each other. Well, they're cousins, first cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. And it's in an area that has a severe, I guess you call it 1960s issue. I mean, they still get threats from KKK in the city and stuff like that, so it's that's pretty bad. But the other big issue that the Senate looked at was that they were 3 years behind on their finance reports. And that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. Now, I don't know what they're bringing up for us to be investigated and everything else like that, because from everything I've been seeing, I don't see any charter violations. I mean, you know, our charter has some issues with it that needs to be straightened out. But how can you violate something that's confusing? And even the Senate will look at that and say the same thing. But going back to the classes, I've always recommended that the commissioners take the classes. They've added a new one now. It's orientation of newly elected officials, and it's an online class. But the last class we went to, we talked to, one of the issues that we talked about was truth. And at one time there was 36 people in here. I don't know how many's in here now. But that's how many different types of truth are in this room right now. Because everybody has their own truth that they believe in. But everybody agreed that the worst truth that you shouldn't listen to is what's on Facebook or social media. Because those truths are hidden behind synonyms and stuff like that, but people don't want them to know who's really doing the thing. So, we can come together and work together. Yeah, Vernon and I get into it every once in a while, but two different leadership styles. And it's the way I perceive things, the way he perceives things, and it's the way it goes. I mean, there's 7 different types of leadership styles. We have 2 different types right here. And it's just the way the world functions. And it's something that we have to deal with. So I know it comes out in public, but this is the only time that we're allowed to talk to each other. And we're not allowed to talk to each other otherwise. Otherwise, we would have done resolved these issues years ago. It's the way that we have to deal with it. But we can work together. I still believe Lake Elm needs to be brought more into the modern world on technology and everything, because they've got so much coming out there now. It used to be that you had to replace your computer every 2 years, and it became every 1 year, and then it was 6 months. Now it's almost daily that they're coming up with new stuff. So, I know we got a bunch of citizens here who want to talk on different things, so I'm going to shut up now. And I'm a little disappointed. I can understand why Erin didn't get up and talk. She has the most unappreciated job being there as a receptionist and having to listen to every gripe and complaint and everything that comes in. If she were to say this, she'd probably be up there for an hour talking about issues.
Thank you for understanding that.
Mayor, do you mind if I say? Thank you. So I sat and listened to everything, and I wanted to reflect on some of the things I wrote down while people were talking. And before I had some opening comments, now I'm going to address city staff and commission communication. One of the things that I'm hearing is that there's communication issues between commissioner and city administrator. One of the things that I heard that didn't quite make sense to me was that you're not on the same team. I don't know what that means, and maybe that is just the breakdown. And I was hoping that Commissioner Donato, if you could clarify, what do you mean when you say we're not on the same team?
I thought that I was talking to the mayor at that point, that we're all commissioners in a group and should work professionally in front, especially in front of the citizens. We can't talk unless we have a workshop. So we're really not a team. We're here to bring ideas that we get back from the citizens, their wants, their desires, discuss it, put it out on the table, hopefully collectively come up with a great idea, start a project, where it's going, and we even do the project. That doesn't really make us a team. You know, I can't go out and really start, and I would go out and start trying to say, the mayor and I, we're a team, because then that's going to shed a light to me as though we're very good friends, you know, we share confidential information. So I don't see it that way. I see that we individually each have our teams, which happen to be the citizens that we represent in the zones. That's the way I see it.
Just on that team perspective, Mike Jordan and Dennis Rodman on the same team in 1-6 ring. They didn't like each other. They didn't communicate just except on the board. And that, so we don't, and then obviously over the period of years that I've been here, I don't think I can recall one city commissioner, except for the other thing about one city commissioner that I went to their house when they came to mine. How we communicated on this and the dice. And that is probably what is best for us as we come here and we do our homework, we figure out what we have to do, and then we come here and we have this time. This is the time, Grand City Commissioner, we can get to speak to one another and come to a consensus. Because we can't leave here without having done the city's business, because I don't like you, or because you don't like me. So that's my perspective.
What I was hearing from the rest of staff is that it would be helpful to have their work highlighted when we are having concerns. So when the concerns are not with the work, but are with the situation in general. Maybe to be more detailed and less vague about that concern. The examples that was given, Ricky, was, what was it about, saying unacceptable, right?
Stormwater.
Right, and so I think we're all equally frustrated with the stormwater. Right, but in a public meeting, perhaps, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, it would be to say, you know, the situation is unfortunate, we find it unacceptable, we found ourselves in this situation, but we recognize the hard work that our staff has put in. And I mean, you know, it's still the same thing, but it's said differently and it has a different impact. And so and that's why I asked for clarification about we're not on the same team. Interesting perspective. I look at it through a different lens, but I can appreciate what you were trying to convey. And so maybe more clarification could be helpful for all of us when we're communicating with one another.
Can I ask at what point in time are we to say to you, you know, we appreciate everything you're doing?
It's not me, it's just the general consensus. We get the people too. Don't think I don't get phone calls, don't think I'll get people come after me. When you go fix my road, when you gonna do this? How come you didn't come over here today? How come you get that done? It's just a general consensus when you stand up there. The stormwater happened to hit me a little bit because we have been working, we're not sitting on our, doing nothing, doing other things. We're working on multiple levels of different things. It's just the way it perceived to me, and I'm a citizen too. It perceived to me as almost like we weren't doing us, the engineers, on it just perceived the perception of how it looked. Not that we understand the frustration, staff and us, and we're working on it as much as we can. We just, even if we had a project ready today, ma'am, sir, whatever, we don't have the money most likely to do the project at this point in time, but we're working on it. That's the perception. I'm just saying it just comes off a little gruff, and it kind of makes us, it made me feel like what the hell, I was nothing, I didn't do nothing. You know, yeah, throw me under the bus if you really want to get down to it, and I don't.
Are we talking about when the engineer was here and I was?
Yeah, the stormwater, yeah, and it just kind of hit me wrong because I'm like, we are trying our best to get you guys completely taken care of and reimbursed for our city and everything on everything, including what we've done, millings, the plates, and then people come in and say, well, you're not doing, well, if I remove that plate over there, and we just go ahead and do something quickly, we lose any way we're going to get any money from FEMA. I'm sorry you're hitting the plate, but there's a bigger picture here. I'm sorry that Pennsylvania's halfway collapsed. We don't have we honestly, you as a city commission and us as citizens don't have the money to even fix that. It would bankrupt you. The building would stop everything. So that's what gets me. It's frustrating because I don't see it. Maybe I took it the wrong way, but it just hit me wrong because we are doing everything. But let them know that we are doing it. It kind of felt like it's unacceptable to the engineers and everybody else if I was sitting out there. I would say, well, the engineer's not doing their job. They're doing more than any other engineer we ever had. At least they're not taking, see, we have a checkbook and have to write a check and leave. These people are unbelievable. I mean, we're on meetings constantly with them almost weekly on where they're going to try to get money. We don't know where they're going. We know some of the things they're doing, avenues. I met 2 weeks ago, with what are incurring on their water side. We took a tour of the plants and all the stuff, and my frustration would be in not having enough water for fire, and all that stuff there. The antiquated, some of the electrical panels, different ways to run everything, and they're sitting there, they're not sitting there going, well, we can engineer that. They're going, what can we do? Hey, I think we can get money from here if we do this. Hey, let's try to get money from here. Let's go back to them. My goodness, it is the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It truly is.
Well, it's really nice because you don't know what you don't know. Ryan and I have a really good relationship. The questioning that night to Ryan was so that the citizens could understand a timeline of where we were going to be. They weren't happy with it. There was people that's not happy with roads. But I was giving Ryan that opportunity to say, it could be 8 months, okay? But he and I get along. I didn't even bring you into that equation.
It wasn't that though. It wasn't even you. It was the whole perception. It's not you. It was not designed to you at all. It's the whole perception of how it went down. Some of the citizens take a look at like, we're not doing anything. The staff is like holding it up, How come you're not getting a permit? How come you're not getting pumps? We're working right now on getting pricing for pumping down there. But I know the reality of it. The reality of what you can and can't do right now. And unfortunately, we can't do all that.
There were questions being asked, especially Monday night while staff wasn't doing more. So, and yes, you're right.
We have a company coming out now to figure out pumping all the way down there and from there and all Lake Cloud and all that. I know what we have to do. I just don't know how to get there, but we're working through it. And these people are helping us. And we can't be in such a better place than we are right now, especially with those projects, water, stormwater. all that. We are in such a good place right now compared to what we were. I worked here since 1996. Marshall Provost, ECT, Pond, you name them, I work with them. You know what, I would first come here, and Ann Robb will tell you this, he used to ask Ann, do they know how much we have in our checkbook? So that's what it costs engineering. And they say, it costs me money. That's the honest truth, I've been here, and that's what I've
Well,
seen.
you know, I'm sorry and I apologize to you, but I think that I've shown you time and time
And we talk all the time, I have nothing against that.
You know, even when it came up to the millage rate, because you needed that money, I had to.
Absolutely.
pay it. So I've always been there. I'm sorry that perception is just that, you know. Everybody has a different perception of what's happening.
I get it, it just hit, and it was just not you, it was the whole,
Yeah, but
the whole
maybe-
dynamic of it.
So then, that's when there should have been a one-on-one conversation, hey, what did you mean, or, you know, so instead of letting things fester.
It didn't, it wasn't even about you and me, it was the whole as a whole, the
Oh.
communication. And it was not about you and me at all, it was about all of you up there.
Okay.
That night, I mean, it's just, the perception that night, it was just one of those things that hit home, because we are working, all we think about stormwater right now.
I have to read from the perspective that I see on an almost daily basis, things that are happening in City Hall and what they're accomplishing. One of the, don't take it wrong, but one of the biggest issues that I had with Ricky was that he would do things to save the city money. We would never hear about it. And I used to tell him, I said, Ricky, you need to capture the things that you're doing, because our budget is here, and you're creating a situation where you are saving us money. So this is our budget. You have saved us more over and above, but don't get credit for it. And that was years ago, and that was only because I saw what was going on on a wonderful basis. Right now, I think we are getting the benefit of being able to have the kind of person that really has this, I don't care what craft you have, if you talk to Ricky long enough, he's going to convince you that this is the best thing that you could do, and he can get more, you can get more out of him, or you can get more out of them because of Ricky. We get more out of other people because of one man. Now, how do we monetize that? We really can. We can show some appreciation. We can show some respect. I don't think he's looking for anything more than respect and appreciation. And that is to the advantage of the city. Everything that happens, the chief, Rick, staff in the city hall, you guys are carrying a load that the rest of the city has no clue. They will point you out for what you didn't do. I remember phone was ringing. They get a phone call. Well, our staff has people in front of them. They're on another line. So phone might have to get answered. But if there's no message left, I can't get back to you. But you can say I called and invited you. And that's just the small stuff. And that's what I'm hearing, just me being up there and seeing the work that they do with Roger, starting with what the compliment that Debbie got, that you got the call about. This happens every day. Anybody that I send to Debbie, I send to Debbie, can you give me can the guy put a face up there? Can the guy do this? And she has the best, I'll say, woosah, because she talks very quietly. She doesn't get belligerent. And I think that goes a long way. We cannot get enough of what our workers are giving the city. They are giving us more than what we're paying.
Can I say something? I want to thank you for that, because this is about communication. And our door is always open. If you have questions and you need an answer, ask us. You know, if the citizens have questions, come ask us. Don't plaster on Facebook your own remarks of what you think. think it is, come and ask us. We'll tell you. We're open door policy, and that's what we're supposed to do. Public records request. Whatever it is that goes in our office, we will share with you. But you have to ask. If you don't come and ask, we can't help you. I've seen things on Facebook from faces I don't even know. You know? Papa's Pizza, that was one of them. It's such a trivial thing about how staff is holding up permits. You want to know the truth? Come ask us. Really. And you guys, anytime you have questions, you need information, please come and ask us. We'll be happy to help you. I've helped Roger, like you said, we've had our tips, you know? So that's just come.
I think it's different is instead of, this city is lucky not to just have workers, we have employees with passionate and love for the city. And I think that's where, that makes all these people great.
You can't buy that kind of passion.
And
You can't put a dollar sign on it.
we're a very strong team.
And that is what's unique in this city, is that there are people who come to work for a paycheck and leave when it's time to go. Not this city. I'm talking about we just hired a guy. The guy was working from
City of Land.
City Land. He's making more money. He never get a chance to see his family. So he'd rather take a pay cut to come here to work. That kind of, we haven't quantified his loyalty yet, but the character, he's from military? Did that?
I don't know.
No?
No, it's either on.
Is that?
I
I
don't
know
think
there's
so.
one guy in charge. And that's a military veteran right there.
Will is, that's right.
Yeah.
And Carl.
So we got the best things going. We just, it's like we got a Maserati, but we don't know how to drive. Yes, ma'am.
We're getting like close to the end.
Yes, we're over the
Do you
end.
want to do the, no, we're not yet, but we're getting there. You want to do the public comment?
Okay, is that an agreement? Okay, I got public comment. I got blue and yellow, so we're going to take from I'll take one from each because they're certain seeing number. I'll start with Shirley. Shirley, you said?
Yes.
Yes.
I have two parts there. One's about storm water and one's about the permits.
Right.
The storm water, I'm sure we tipped 123 Main Lane, Lake Alabama. Now, Lake Alabama is public or private property.
Yes.
So we don't get any storm water or flood water done there ever. But we pay in $50 a month in lot rent, $280 some odd dollars at the end of the year. And you're under contract more, you can't bill us for something, for a service we will never receive. I mean, we want a refund, we want our retainer. We've been paid in years and we've seen nothing. I don't mind paying a year in ahead of time if I'm gonna see something down the road. But you tax the most vulnerable people in your community with this fee of something we will never receive at all through there.
Can I ask you something? Do you own the property that you're?
Not the property, I own the mobile home.
Oh, okay, so, but.
It's a 55 and up community.
Okay, so that the landlord is the one that is actually the property owner.
Yes.
And the landlord
it's
is
for
who we
flood
send
and
it.
storm.
Well, the landlord is who we send the bill to.
They're charging you, not
Yeah,
us.
The landlord is.
Their
And he says
land
it's
property
coming here to
taxes
the
and
city.
fees are divided up between all the people that.
I don't know, I guess we're not doing that.
Right, so, but actually,
That's not us.
that's not us. In other words, if
So
they,
where is this money go? Because we're supposed to go to Lake Helen.
the landlord is, well, it's going to, each of the property owners has on their property list all of the taxing authorities. No
It
matter how
says-
much property you have, you've got one lot or 100 lots.
This is fire and storm and flood.
Yes,
That
Roger,
we pay.
yeah.
It doesn't come to Lake Helen? Does,
Let him answer.
One of the issues, the way I understand it, under stormwater, because the Woods of Lake Helen has pretty much the same complaint. Because you live inside the city of Lake Helen, you use more roads than what's inside the villas. And for us to be able to keep those roads accessible, that's what
Well,
the
what's
fee-
real
the
close
fees
to
go
that
for.
is underwater.
And, well, because it's, to repair it is going to cost more than what we're collecting. And so that's why we're trying to get things from Woodward and Corn and FEMA and everything to help
Okay.
cover some of
And
the
then we'll worry about
costs.
the
But
stormwater.
that's why they get charged the stormwaters, because they're inside the city and the stormwater affects everybody. As a matter of fact, because of the water table, it affects the lakes inside Willis too. But we don't, because it's private property, they have to handle those issues themselves.
And the other thing is that the property owner gets a bill from school boards. If you're a 55 and over community, you don't have kids in school.
No, we might.
But they send the bill to the landlord, and he has to separate it, share it. That's.
But I just know we won't get anything there. But we had a woman from FMO come out last HOA meeting and told us that Volusia County is in charge of flood and storm, not the city. They can't do nothing about it. Why aren't we putting the ball in their court and making Volusia County help or work with us on the storm and flood? If they're in charge of the St. John's water management, why aren't they in this game too?
They're not in charge of St. John's Water Management. The Florida DEP has divided up the state into different water management districts. And we just happen to be inside the St. John's Water Management there, which covers more than just Volusia County.
And everything.
And Volusia County has their public works that's dealing with flooding issues, and they give occasionally times, that's where that Project 360 or whatever it's called, funds came from, that we were able to get some funds for to do some evaluation on our stormwater. It came through the county because the county was able to get some money from the state. So yeah, we do work with the county, and the county works with us on handling the issues. And they do have, if during after a massive storm, if they have any spare pumps available, and we ask for them, they will let us use some of their pumps to pump some of the stormwater
They
stuff.
had
The problem this last time was, they ran out of pumps too. They couldn't keep up with it. So it made, everybody was affected by it.
All right, and the other issue I had was the permits. I requested recently the permit for the clubhouse roof at the Millis, because I thought you had to update the building, like the handicap bathroom wasn't put in when the roof was put on. Well, right now, people are getting zapped around the pool. They did work with the pavers around the pool, they put up lighting. 2 incidences, I know, where people went into the pool, the lights come on, and they're getting out of the pool, getting zapped. They can't get out of the enclosure without getting zapped. Thank God none of them had pacemaker, because they wouldn't be here today if they did. But I look at the permit board, I open the thing, it's empty. Every building that's going in there, in 2020, I complained, no permits, no, it's nothing.
So that's
They're all empty. You can't see if there's a licensed electrician, never been there.
That's permit for. Jack?
The problem with your electrical, you probably got a short in the motor somewhere in the pool pump. You need an electrician to go through it and find where the short's at. Or else you got a missing ground, and it's grounding through the pool.
But if a licensed electrician inspected it, if there was a permit, they know that it shouldn't be open. But we just turned off the lights, because if you went to the meeting on Monday, there was no lights, because I tripped over the last thing going around the car, thank God the car was there, because I couldn't see it. But there's issues with permits in that area. I know you don't have no code
I
enforcement.
mean, as far as the permits, Debbie would have to answer. If she's issued a permit, but they're not posting them where they should be, that's who's ever doing the work.
Yeah, they're not
Whoever's
listed
doing it is a
there.
problem.
I have requested it, haven't found it, but when they're told to put a permit up, they just put a board up and there's nothing there. Nobody can check it, nobody can go look, nobody can see what's going on.
That's your landlord?
Well, I think, if they need them, can they get copies of the permits from you to read those?
Miss Tiff emailed me for copies. I sent her a copy for the burglary
The
that's going
steps.
up, And she asked about the roof. I asked her to please let me know when it was done, if she had any idea, because
I didn't
when you
get
pull
that.
up, I can forward it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
When you pull up the villas, it has every trailer in there that has ever had any work. And there's no classification, there's no addresses, it's all under one. So there might be, I don't know, how many units is there, 209?
Is there a website?
There might be 100 permits on every roof. So I asked in the email, I replied to you, asking if you can give me a date, I can start looking for something for it.
Okay, I just have pictures of like when it was the way and like a couple months later when it wasn't the same way, you know, like the leaves changed.
What
And there's like a time frame is all I gotta go by.
one of the things that's like, I'm just giving Debbie some work. When you come into City Hall, she has it on her computer, and she can see everything that was done.
Yeah, I go in a
And
couple
if you were
times,
there
she's
with
not
her,
there.
if you were there, have you come in and spoke with her yet?
I have.
She's always out of the office, so when I talk, she says, well, she'll be back.
Oh,
And
she
I'm like,
wasn't-
we don't know when.
Yes.
So I really have her interest.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, what was that?
He said this wasn't the purpose of the workshop.
You're right, you're right. Todd Preston, Commissioner,
Commission.
he has a slip.
Oh.
What the discussion about, that's what yes, Ann, are you still here? Okay, you're after now. About the work, well, you talk about the workshop. Okay. All right, Todd.
Good evening. First, I want to say I support Jim Gleason and the entire city staff 100%. I agree with the people here that have spoken about the cohesiveness, about the teamwork here. I've been dealing with the city for over 30 years, and I completely agree with it, and I support them. Now, this is in reference to the commissioner that was a catalyst for this meeting, since I'm trying to follow the rules and address the commission, not in an individual. In my opinion, this commissioner is an arrogant, condescending, self-serving, obstructionist public servant that entirely pushes the agenda of a small group of anti-establishment people that are at the core of division in this town. And until this commissioner steps down, things will never improve here in the realm of unity and positive community engagement. To bolster my point, I will add that to my understanding, this commissioner has attended the League of Cities dinner at least 3 times, and all 3 times has sponsored the same guest, a guest that is the sole curator of the division in our city, and that particular guest isn't even in the commissioner's zone or district.
But in short, this meeting is not for that, I understand. Okay, so that we can stay within the guidelines of everybody will stay on the same page, that may be something that you might want to bring up at another time.
What time would that be?
That would be at a commission meeting, if you want to put in a request that you have it on an agenda item. This workshop, this is the restraints that we have with the workshop, because we can't do everything. So we want to be able to do something that we can without putting anything off the table.
Okay, very good. I'll bring it up in another meeting.
Thank you.
I just want to close by saying, in my opinion, everyone in this room and within this city is lesser off by this commissioner's words and actions as a public servant and commissioner of this once great city.
Thank you so much. And
Says 170 West Craig Avenue. I want to know what we're doing here. I thought this was a workshop to discuss the recommendation or the consideration that our city administrator might resign. We keep spending money to do headhunters, and he said it cost us $35,000 last time. What is it going to cost us this time if this man leaves? We didn't give him an opportunity to do the job. He's been here, what, how long, a year? For goodness sakes, what's going on?
this wasn't a meeting to dismiss him.
No, I know it's not to dismiss him. It's to support him, because we need to let him know, or to find out what is the problem that we can't resolve in this town to want people who do the jobs to stay.
Thank you. I think it was expressed here about this morning and otherwise, but thank you. Nancy, communication,
Yes.
and then Alan Cook is bringing up the rear.
As
usual.
Yes, I'd like to address the communication. I know several weeks ago, a week or so ago, there was a post on Facebook how you think people don't support the staff. We support you. I have a great deal of respect for the staff. However, we have to address issues that come up. That was inappropriate. To allow that is inappropriate. You may not like me, and you may not agree with me, but I'm a citizen in this city. I pay my taxes.
Directed toward the.
Thank you. But you allow that. The things that have been allowed are wrong. He can be a great guy. He can be a wonderful man, and I know that all of you support him. But what about the bad part? What about the night that he attacked me out here in my car?
Okay, well,
No.
this right now,
No.
this is not the place for that.
It is.
I'll say it. Thank
You're
you.
both being
Thank
one.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Part of not being able to keep our meeting as cordial as we can, it is difficult, and I appreciate it. Alan Cook, you're the last one up.
You know, I've been in town 30 years. Oh, I've heard some rumors and rumors and rumors. But there's one rumor that I have, Monday night, I caught something that I hadn't heard about. And I would like to ask the commissioner if it's true. And that is, do you have a lawsuit against the town?
That is probably what we're not having a back and
Well,
forth.
it's tonight you're asking what's going on. I'm just asking, is she doing a lawsuit against the town? That's all I'm asking. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That will be.
Mr. Mayor, could I address the commission after Mr. Cook?
Go ahead,
You had, I'll take the commissioner's words out. I couldn't hear if you want.
Questions directed to the city commission will be referred to staff, which will be answered by staff in a reasonable period of time following the date of the meeting.
Thank you. That is the one good thing about having that there, is that if you, when you speak to the commission, if there's something that the commission needs to get back to you in a reasonable time, we will get that. Not in this meeting, because that's an exchange. So we will take that on advisement, that there's a concern and a question. That we will say the words for me.
Questions directed to the city commission will be referred to staff, which will be answered by staff within a reasonable period of time following the date of the meeting.
Okay, so the question is there a lawsuit against the city that will be referred to our city administrator, and then we will get back to that if that's the proper procedure.
He'll check with our attorney and he'll let you know.
The lady is ready to answer it.
I know
And
she's
to be corrected and maybe final.
No,
I don't know.
Cookie, we can't go off the script. I'm sorry. We will get, you're going to get the answer on how to.
And Cookie, we did the same thing to Todd when we started realizing he was going off. We cut him off.
So now we have late, Mr. Absher.
Sean Abshire, 235 East Ohio Avenue. I just have to say, I've lived here 33 years, my whole life. I've been involved in all the community involvement for the last 17 years. I have never seen so much dysfunction, chaos, and division in my entire 33 years here. You guys have got to leave and get it together, and soon. Please, for all of our sakes.
Thank you, Sean. All right, is there any more comments? Probably not here. Jim? I'm sorry. Yes, please.
I just want to say one thing. Jen Mullen, 271 West New York Avenue. You guys have been talking about team, and I'm going to read you a definition of what a team actually is. And a team is generally defined as a group of people who collaborate and coordinate their efforts to achieve a common goal. So when you guys are talking about being on the same team, maybe you should think about your team it's everybody bringing their little bit of knowledge to the table so that you guys can all collaborate and do what's best for the city and the citizens. That's what a team is.
On that note, I think if there's nothing else to be said, I think we should fully adjourn and, I'm sorry.
One quick comment.
Yeah, what was that you were saying? We didn't do?
It is roles and responsibilities, point B.
Rules.
Or did I miss it?
Well, it's kind of all clustered
Yeah.
together. The only thing I could probably suggest is if staff wants to go through the employment rules and regulations, or whatever it's called, and see if there's any tweaking that needs to be done in them to make the license better, and present it to us so we can review it. One area.
I'll add on that, it's just something that's changed to be on the next agenda. You won't have to vote on the budget report or the checklist again, because there's no reason to vote on it. We'll be giving it to you as an information item. But if all voted, you voted 5-0, no on the checklist, what are we gonna do? Go back and get our money from vendors? So you're voting on that list means nothing. You're voting on the budget report means nothing. So you won't have to vote on it anymore. They're given to you now as information items. If you have questions about them, bring them up. You won't need to vote on anything that has no ramifications, because there's nothing, your negative votes don't change anything on those reports. So
Right.
There's no reason to have worthless votes.
If anybody's interested, Aldi's on Howland Boulevard and Catalina is having a grand opening tomorrow at 9 a.m. Aldi's.
All right, everybody, I really want to appreciate you all coming out and thank you for your input. And I hope that we will all take this as a learning curve. And thank you very much.
Sorry.